Hi, I'm Matt Ramus. I'm currently a fifth year here at Northwest Missouri State University studying interactive digital media with an emphasis in visual design. Interactive digital media is a program here at Northwest where you get to study both elements of graphic design as well as elements of web design, web coding, and computer programming. So I decided I wanted to do this really not until I entered college, because growing up I didn't really think there was this area to really go into. But when I was really young, my first video game I really fell in love with was Pokemon Red, which got released in like 1996, and I loved playing that game. And so when I was really little, I thought it'd be always really fun to go into the design world, the video game world, that industry that was an up-and-coming industry. But I didn't really realize until my college years that that was a real possibility. And so when I started studying elements of design and computer programming and web design and all these elements that play a part, I really started to enjoy what I was doing, and I really started to love the learning process and the design process and all the other elements that came together. Through my 5 years here at Northwest, I've done a few rebrands of companies such as Rolls-Royce, Lipton Tea, and then a rebrand of a Hollywood and Dead album. I've also done some logo designs. I've done marketing strategies and advertising ideas for bigger companies like Hy-Vee. And then I've also done some other fun little projects such as typography calendars and catalogs and other little things kind of there and there. My favorite project I've done in my 5 years was definitely my Rolls-Royce rebrand, where I really went in depth on a car company and really restructured them from the bottom up. So the area of focus I professionally focus on in interactive digital media is it's definitely more the art side than more computer programming side. So I do focus on, mocking up based on my drawings and then taking my drawings and making them digitally and then using those digital platforms to make art, whether it's a logo or whether it's a catalog. So I technically tend to slide more towards the art side of the IDM major instead of the computer programming side. But that doesn't mean I don't isolate myself to just one area. I do work on, if I am doing for a fact a web design or anything else like that, I do take into account the viewpoint of a programmer as well as a computer coder, and like how can they, how can they help with the design to make it more interactive for the user, or how do I make it less challenging for them to work around my design concept. So for me, I typically tend to do more of a 60-40 approach, where I spend 60% of my time on design and 40% of my time on coding and developing. So most of my friends know I'm a pretty big gamer. I've been gaming for the last 15 to 17 years, and how it relates to my major is that a lot of the things that I've been studying, video game designers, video game programmers, they use to help develop their games, whether it's character development, whether it's UX UI design for dealing with menu systems and websites that they use for forums, or as animation background, how they design characters in the 3D world, as well as programming. All games are based around programming, of whether it's Java or another set of programming skills. It's all based around that. So all those increments that I'm studying come together and they form video games, which is what we use to play on our console. So programming is what the console reads, and the design is what we see as individuals on our TV screens. So I graduate college this April, and afterwards I'm hopefully going to get either an intro job into a gaming company such as a BioWare or CD Projekt Red, or be within the news entertainment concept of video gaming such as like IGN or Warner Brothers, or another gaming news source, Game Informer, for GameStop. And that's kind of my entry-level position. And after I work there for a period of time and understand the environment as well as how the company and the corporations run, I'm going to go back to school for real 3D animation and then hopefully be a video game animator.
All hail the conquering hero. Let us remember him as our protector.
Yes, I think me playing a lot of video games over the years will give me an edge up, because unlike a lot of video gamers, I'm not a one-trick pony gamer. I don't just play one type of video game. I play a variety of video games, whether it be third-person RPGs, first-person shooters, MMOs, sports games, racing games. I kind of play in every field of the video game industry, and I think that gives me a perspective that a lot of gamers don't get, because they only play one type of game. So when I go into the industry, I'll be one of the players that's like, hey, this game is really good because this is why, and this game is really good and this is why, and how we can use those aspects to create a new game, whatever type of game it is. It's just going to help the company succeed, and it's going to help me succeed in making sure that company is recognized and rewarded for that. Okay, I also think that playing video games won't give me a help in the industry, because most people that go into the industry are like me. All of them do play a multiple of different games, and they realize what the pros and cons are each game, just how I am when I play games. So I have to compete with everyone else and show that my knowledge is just as good or even better than the competition, and that's especially hard because every person sees different pros and cons in a game. So I have to compete with everyone, and that's going to be a very hard and difficult process to overcome. My name is Matt Ramis, and if you want to check out more of my projects, go to mwrames.com to look for yourselves, and thank you for watching Amazing Things.